They have brought in a top 5 center for the position, depending on, I guess, how you want to rate it or rank it, of course. But I think certainly for how he fits into this scheme, you can consider him so. And of course, as long as he is healthy. And that is one Connor Williams, former second-round pick by the Dallas Cowboys, most recently with the Miami Dolphins, after a long, tense negotiation that saw Drew Rosenhaus pulling out all of his tricks of the trade, including trying to push John Schneider forward a little bit faster by playing a little bit of the footsies there with Baltimore. Well, maybe he'll just go to Baltimore, John. And John's over there like, I know Baltimore don't got the money. I know they don't got the money. Don't Drew me. Don't Rosenhaus my ass. I know what you're doing. I've been here since 95 on this. I know what you're doing. And John evidently didn't take the bait. Got a very, very nice deal put into place here. A 1-year, $3 million deal that can be worth up to $6 million, which we will cover in a second. But this is a deal where you are able to take advantage of a situation where, unfortunately, this guy got injured at the end of the year as he was going into a contract season. It is tough to have that happen. It's brutal for these players when it goes down in this way. It can oftentimes cost them a lot of money. This was one of the nice things you saw about our Seahawks organization a couple of years ago when Quandre Diggs had his foot turned sideways. They still came back and gave him a very big contract, made him a top 10 player for the position in the NFL. Coming off that major injury, heading into year 30, Miami not looking to do necessarily the same as they got themselves into some cap peril. And he was playing very good, having a great, outstanding season. How good of a season was he having? Well, he was, at the time, a top 5 rated center by PFF. Now, I know many people want to dog PFF, and what is that worth? And again, it is on a little bit of, I wouldn't call it sample size snaps, but essentially he had a lot of his snaps cut down by the fact that he, of course, did get injured a little bit later on in the year, and so didn't have a full season. But he had a minimal enough snaps to be considered on that ranking of centers. And as you can see, as I'm posting up here, he is on top 5 state of things. He was the second-ranked center, technically speaking, with Miami last year. And to put this a little bit in perspective on this deal and what it means, and we'll get to the injury front of it in a second on this, but just taking a look at this, for what you want to guide off of or not guide off of with PFF on this, when we go and we look at the NFL contracts right now for centers at the position, and I go look at Frank Ragnow, number 1. All right, is he a high-paid center here over on the contracts? Oh, he is. He's the second highest paid center on there with a $54 million deal. Okay, well, we got Connor. We just signed to a 1-year deal. Drew Dolman, I don't have him on a deal here quite yet that I can see. He's not even on here on the low side, so they seem to be having him at a pretty good discount. In fact, he's all the way down here at the bottom, 44th. He's making $4.5 million right now. So Drew Dolman's coming in at a pretty nice discounted cost for Atlanta. We got Creed Humphreys, who's about to sign a record-setting deal for the Chiefs. I would estimate that this deal will come in before the start of the year and that he will be made that guy, that highest-paid guy in the sport when that does happen. Drop a tier for the Eskridge pick instead. I know all of you are going to fill the comments up on that one, but he's about the point being to be the highest-paid center. And then we go to Eric McCoy. And where's Eric McCoy on the list? Numero uno. $60 million contract. So why do I love this deal? Why do I think that this is marvelous just right from the onset of looking at it? And this ain't me being a homer, because you've got a top 5 level of ability center that you're paying for peanuts on the dollar versus what the competition's having to pay for that equal level of production. Center is not a position as you look through the draft on a yearly basis, and frankly, there's been a couple of these positions that have just started to become this way. I don't really have as much of an excuse or reason or understanding of why it's this way, but you do see it as a given trend throughout recent drafts. Tight ends, centers, safeties. You don't find yourself going into any draft saying, hey, the deepest positional group's over at those ones. They're hard to find. You find one, you got to pay him a lot of money. Not the Seattle Seahawks, not John Schneider, because he was patient. He kept his cap space waiting, as he says. Improving the roster is a $365 a year day job. It is not just for the offseason or for agency. It is to be done at all times to go, hopefully in earnest, to be able to take advantage of market opportunities. And this is a market opportunity. It's unfortunate for Connor that he had the injury when he did with the ACL, which probably prolonged the rehab and him getting up to 100%. The money is all gone off the board at this time by the time you become 100% or close to it. Now, is he or isn't he on that? That's the part we'll see, because Drew Rosenhaus says it's the most miraculous recovery he's ever seen in his agent life of any player. He had this, what was looked at as almost catastrophic like knee injury at the end of last year, and yet he seems to be at 100% ready to be healthy, 100% ready to be good to go for game 1 based on what we're hearing. But this is the nice part, again, I like about the deal on top of the value structure. is that you're not paying for what he was, you're paying for what he is going to hopefully be for you. And that's if he's at the high end of what he is. Comes out, the knee's dodgy, he comes out, can't get over this. You still got your 2 stack of centers behind him. You're nonetheless hurt. You're $3 million out of pocket. No big deal. He goes out there and balls out for you on that center position. He gives you top 5 level of play for the position, as I just showed you on the contracts on the prior. That's still a deal. It's a 1-year deal, and the average per year is still below anything those other teams are doing. Is this a 1-year situation? Yes. But could this also be he comes back out, plays great, still a fairly young player, and you come back around next year and have a little bit of an inroads to re-signing him then to a contract extension, if that's what you want to do? This opens the door to you as that as well. You have taken this deal. It's a value add. It gives you a lot of flexibility. You've made sure you can do the rare thing in NFL contracts where you actually put it really mainly incentive laden in order to make sure that you are getting the returns back that you hope you're getting in taking on this guy and that he can improve the line in this way. I'm not expecting or hoping necessarily that we're going to get quite to maybe top 5 impact from the center position here this year. It'd be great if he was, but we just want to see it improve from where it's been. Austin Blythe, Evan Brown. It's not been a good run. And quite frankly, it's pretty much not been a good run since we had about Max Unger in here, minus 1 season of Ethan Posick after he had washed out at 2 other positions and finally settled in at center. It's been a while. This has been a position of problematic issue for a bit. It would have been nice to see Nick Harris or Oluwatimi maybe have, by this point, locked that in and been able to be lock solid in there. And teams like, that's our starter. We're rolling with them. Here we go. Neither of those 2 guys really, so it sounds like really stepped forward and took that on. And within Olatimi's case, he just kind of keeps getting, it sounds like, a little bit nicked up and dinged up, and that's probably no doubt hurting a little bit of his progression as he's tried to become that starter. But this guy has been that kind of player here for a few years. He's not a 1-year off. When I show you that, with the PFF stuff and all that, this isn't him just suddenly last year the light bulb went on for an 11-game period and you got a sample size of him being good. He's been good for some years now, going back. He's put a level of consistency together and indeed was on his way to, in many ways, maybe having the best year of his career last year before he did go down with that injury. So there is a little bit of that you can also maybe feel good about in what he brings to the table here, is that this is consistent in the past. It really is going to come down to the health of the knee. And if he is truly healthy, because if he is healthy, he's going to be out there and play well. That's been his recent track record. And this comes around to why I also feel good about him fitting really well into the scheme and system, and why he would do good if he's healthy is that he fits really well into this scheme and system. When you look at his combine, when you look at his movement in space, and I've been going back over the last couple of days and watching some tape on his time there with Miami. I'll be showing you guys a couple of cut-ups in a second of him to kind of give you a little bit of an idea on him. He is very athletic. He has a very ease of motion in movement in space. Many of these big dog guys down inside, when they start getting to move, it's, you can feel every flap of fat flapping, with him, he's just getting down there and getting right up to his block and his movement base. So reach blocks, pulling in space, climbing to the second level, getting out in front. I'm going to show you one block here in the set where, he not only hikes it, gets an initial hand on the nose tackle, but then peels out around the edge and still gets out in front of the running back to help spring the play. So when I say that he's got the mobility and the athleticism and that stuff is really in his bag, and that this is the requirement of the scheme. This is what you need now in this scheme. It's a part that I've drawn so much hopefulness in this offensive line, finding improvement by the transition here to the new scheme, because in Charles Cross, you have a guy that comes from an air raid background at college. In Abraham Lucas, you have a guy that comes from an air raid background in college. In guys like now Christian Haynes or Connor Williams or Bradford or Harris, go through litany of these guys, they all fit to this mobile-based scheme that's going to ask you to do more of moving in space, being comfortable moving in space, getting lateral at times. These type of things are really a bedrock of what Grubb wants to do with his offensive linemen, and you've got to be able to do it. Again, in the past, we've kind of wanted it to be something that we'd like to have of our linemen, but it's sort of been, if it's the 4th or 5th thing you're good at, that's fine too. We just want those other things to be right, and we'll be good. So less of this just mashing the guy head up, more about getting out in space. But I'm showing a comparison here, as you can see, with the raw relative athletic score, where Christian Haynes is even a little bit behind Connor Williams, and Haynes being a guy known for being a really good mover coming out, known for being very athletic, maybe the best moving guard in this past draft. So this gives you a little bit of an idea with Connor Williams about that physical ability that he does bring to the table, and that is legitimate and real. You do feel it on the tape. You'll feel it on what I show you here shortly from him. It is very impressive, and it's going to help this offense function at its best. We came into this offseason, I said, man, rebuild the trenches, John. Get the trenches built up. Make it a strength of the football team. You've started the process off with Charles Cross. He was the beginning point, basically. He was the starting, revitalization of this offensive line. You took him 10th overall in the first round. It was a shot across the bow of Seahawks fans that have been begging for this for years, of improve the offensive line, get it built up. Come on, let's go. And then you came back third round. You got Abraham Lucas. Those two guys, along with Lucas's knee health, can hold up, looks good. And he's continued to kind of bit by bit build this along through the last few years. But there's been that room this offseason to go out there and make more of a stronger move. I wanted to see this Connor Williams move like made with a free agency, and then you pattern it with a really high draft pick. And I would have felt like, okay, that with the work you've already done into the offensive line should bear out to an offensive line that starts to play really well all around. And I believe in this now. And so he's been able to do what I kind of wanted to do without having to spend $50 million, $60 million to go get that prime asset to put him in there at that center position. And he's brought in a guy that fits the scheme purely too. Not just a good player, but then fits the scheme as well in addition to it. So this is going to be nothing but one of those deals where it's going to be hard for me to find a balanced lane here to say, well, there is this downside here. $3 million deal. If it goes to $6 million, it means good things have happened. It means our offensive line is probably playing really well if he's getting up and hitting those incentives. It's only for the betterment of the team if he's kind of hitting those incentives at that time. So a wonderful deal all the way around here from the Seattle Seahawks. They patiently waited to make sure they got the deals done at the numbers and the right numbers at that. It's a one-year deal. There's no long-term risk here either, as far as if there is an injury, if he can never get back out there and play again. But again, reportedly, he's passing his physicals. He's good to go. The whole point of these negotiations going on in the first place was the fact that he had been checked out and was good to go. The miraculous recovery, I guess, indeed was real. Let's look at a couple of just cuts, if we can, of him. I won't go too far into this. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a flavor, if you will, here for kind of what you get. Connor Williams at the center position. I think the first thing that stands out when you watch him is that he is a blood and guts kind of center. You think about centers as being real scrappy, get the job done by any means necessary. Robbie Tobeck at a recent lineman's camp down in the South was talking a little bit about this light bulb moment he had where a coach was referencing him of just, Robbie will just fight the guy. You can't beat him physically. If you can't beat him on being bigger, faster, stronger, he'll just fight him. He'll just get in there and maul it out with him. And indeed, that's a bit of the player you have here. He's got the athletic ability. He's not real uberly powerful or super long with the length, but he's really smart, really savvy, a technician for the position. And things that I think will stand out to you here as you guys watch him on these cut-ups. All right, so we got Miami here right out the gate. The Chiefs on the other side of things. The center position will be Connor. Some of these are just nothing fancy, and I want to note this play first because I just wanted to say part of what's going to make this hard on some of these cut-ups, and we're going to learn this with Miami during the year, is how quickly the ball is out of the hand of the quarterback, especially when we're trying to look at the pass protection stuff. Because everything with them throwing the ball is getting and the ball out of his hand as quickly as they possibly can. It works. Their offense kicks butt with it. Here, not asked to do a lot other than just lock in on that center one-on-one, but he does get the job done there. One place that I really like with them, and one spot you always want to see with centers, is can you do the 2 blocks on one play? I know there's a technical term I'm forgetting on this, but can you get to 2 blocks? Can you first help out your right guard here, as he does with 74? And then can you peel off that block after you've gotten forward movement and get down to the next defender cleanly? And then there's the hole. Okay, so let's roll it again. I'm gonna roll this one a couple times. This is the little, when I say savvy technician stuff, this is the thing that's hard for centers to do, get on with the timing. You get a lot of centers here that'll get stuck on this first block and just start to push this guy off, get off too late, not get to that next defender. But here, the running back's got a very clean, easy lane to know where he needs to go with this ball, doesn't he? Locks right on in. Hands are a little wide. Don't like that, but the timing's right. It's not going to get called, but very rarely eliminates the second player from the play. So again, 2 blocks and 1. 1, 2, running back's free. May look easy because you don't actually technically block a guy. to some of you. You might go, well, why is that hard? You just got to hit one guy and then just barely stand in front of the other guy. It's not easy for these guys. And he's a lot more athletic, in how he's doing it than guys typically are at the position to do this. Again, first block, notice, is he on this first block when you watch him just barely tapping him? Is he just doing the bare minimum? Is he just touching him like some centers do on tape that I watch? They'll just get the two hands and then get to the second level. Get to the second level. Or does he actually get some push and then down to the second level? Now, in my opinion, his left guard sells on him here completely because look at how he gives his left guard. Look, he pushes the guy out for the left guard, and the left guard still loses him to his right inside. So that's not his fault. The 96 comes back and makes this play. That's the left guard not understanding properly where the play is going. Because if you're the left guard here, you're supposed to then peel the defensive tackle around your left shoulder, make the pathway long for him. So move yourself inside there, but that's just his kind of stupidity. Not Connors on this play, who does play it well and gets down to the second level. Another one here against the Chief. Again, this is going to be and I'm going to play this a couple times. I know you can't sometimes always catch it off the rip, so I'll play this a few times. So we've got Connor as a center first, lined up here over the nose tackle. One tech takes him on first, heads up a little bit. See how he's not trying to actually move him off the ball? Just get in front of him. Don't lose any position. Don't allow any penetration. Then get yourself out to the next level of things. And he leaves the screen. See how fast he is? He's gone. He's out of the screen. So he's quickly then out front. You see him moving quickly. He helps out Tyreek Hill, who can't block nothing. I'm going to help you out, Tyreek. Helps out Tyreek there a little bit. Tyreek's like, thank you, man. Tyreek goes, looks for somebody else. You can see then Tyreek's man. 58's the guy at the left-hand side of your screen with 31. That's your Connor Williams. So you can see first, I come up, I take the nose tackle, I get back out in space, I help out here with Tyreek Hill on the edge, eliminate the edge. He's 15, 20 yards off the ball here from when he snapped the ball. And the player doesn't have a chance to make a play. So nicely done. One more time, just regular speed. Boom. Look how quick he gets out there. Locked on. His targeting systems are correct. His targeting systems are right. Something that shows out with him quite a bit. One of my favorite plays of his right here. And this was the play I was telling you guys a little bit about a second ago. Back in the day, there was a guy by the name of Dermonte Dawson. He was a Pittsburgh center stealer. And they made a big, huge kerfuffle back in the day. Because he was one of the first centers who could snap the ball and then pull out in front. That was a huge thing back in the day. Like, oh, so those guys just didn't do that. They'd snap the ball here, snap the ball here, snap the ball here. They're in their little closet-sized space, and that's where those centers used to operate. Dermonte Dawson sort of flipped the script and started to make this a little bit more of it'd be kind of nice if you could pull out in front every once in a while. That does kind of help the offense out. I mean, that center is, if you think about it, unless you've got a true 3-4 situation set up or a true nose tackle and a zero tech in front of him, a lot of times there's a guy, he's unguarded basically. So to pull back out in front is a little easier. There's not a guy to just shoot right back into his gap in his lane if you're going to do that. So lock in on center here, right in the middle of the screen with 95 right across from him. Watch what he does here. Because to me, I feel like this is just such an outstanding play. Not because of the finishing part here, where he's 30 yards down the field, eliminating, I think it's a safety there from the play, eliminating the safety from the play. I mean, you talk about, like I say, targeting systems. I got to go find that safety. Look at that safety in the bottom left corner from when he's pulling off the ball here. I got to go find that guy 25 yards down the field. Out in front, timely. Look at how he's right in time with things. The running back's not at his back. He's not slow to get out there. And then lays it out. But this is the part to me that blows my mind. Right here. Right here. Right here. Why, Brandon? Why does that blow your mind? Because do you know how hard it is in the first place to get out to this place? To get out to the spot where you're pulling out in the lead on time, out in front? To also have taken a beat of a moment to say, let me just help out the nose for a second. He's unblocked. There's no double team. I'm going to eliminate him first. Timing of the play, I know. I don't have to push him off the ball. I don't have to push him 5 yards down the field. All I've got to do is get a hat on him for a minute. Bang, peel out in front. The smoothness of this is not stuff you see from centers. These are not the type of plays that they can pull off. The guy would be, if he just to get to the pole, would be out pulling out, running his ass off right now more normally. But to eliminate that block first so that he can get out in space here, wonderful play. Nice play design, of course, by Mike McDaniel too, but just one more time, one of my favorite plays here. And again, shows his quickness and just ability to get out in front. Second level blocker requirement in this system. Can you do that? Can you snap the ball and get to a linebacker who is smaller than they've ever been, quicker than they've ever been, harder to get your hands on than they've ever been? Here he shows you, yes, I can. Direct snap, get to the second level, neutralize number 9. Get his body swung around. I mean, look, you've performed your second level block pretty well at this point. Not only have you gotten to it, but you've got yourself swung around here so the back and the defender has no chance to get back to the running back. He's going to have to take a long route to get around to that back. He's been eliminated from that play. So snap, second level, steer yourself around, savvy technique, great block. Another second level block here. Again, get down to the center. Center just gets all pussy here, in my opinion. He starts getting all puss. It's holding. Oh, he blocked me too good. I'm going to do the spin move and throw up my arms and hope an official saves me. Save me, official. Save me. Nobody's saving you on that. That's clean. Get down. Feet moving. Linebacker eliminated. When he locks on his block, he hits the block. He eliminates the defender. Scrappiness. Getting the job done. Doesn't it always have to look pretty? No, it does not have to always look pretty. Sometimes it's going to look quite ugly when these guys are having to do it, especially when centers are having to do it all on their own. They're buddy guys. They're used to having a little bit of help. Okay? Take a little bit of that help away. Their footing is a little bit not as good, but get the block done by any means necessary. Does this look a little bit dirty? Yeah, a little bit. Is it a little muddy? Yeah, there's some mud on the boots. Does it get called? No, it does not. And again, take note of just how freaking fast Miami is trying to get the ball out of Tua's hands. It's wild watching them. They're going to be fun to play, but holy moly, they are. But again here, nose tackle, feet moving well, loses his feet, still doesn't give up the sack. It is not called. Is it on the line? I call it scrappiness. That's what I call it. Here again, it's going to be matched up on the nose tackle. A little bit of help at first. This guy peels away to go help out Karlaftis off the edge. So his right guard goes to help 73. That leaves 58 one-on-one. 91 does a good job of trying to rip him back across. Now he's definitely holding on there. But hands are inside. Notice the hands inside? When your hands are inside and you're holding on, it's harder to spot. Especially on the inside, all that traffic, and it's hard, all those bodies are in there. So when the hands get to the outside shoulder, that you're going to be on noticeable display there. But he's got his helmet kind of inside his hand. You can't really tell. Keeps himself in there, torqued up. Okay. Touchdown. So he'll get the job done. It ain't always going to be pretty in pass pro, especially if you're going to match him up with the nose tackle. But he ain't getting beat either. You're not just going to blow over the top of him like we saw Austin Blythe, like we saw at times Evan Brown have happened to them. Reach blocks, what are they? The reach block is that I do not have a man directly in front of me. I've got to reach out. I got to take a lateral step post-snap to reach my block, to hit a reach block. It's not like I have here with the right guard, for instance. The guy's right across for you, right? That's not a reach block. The guy's right in front of you, or the tackles. This is where you've got to get out and to get into that guy. So he's got to get over to 95. Quinnen Williams, one of the best defensive tackles in the game. Now, does he get a little bit of a beat of help here from his left guard? Yes, he does. for just a second, but this is the way that this works for centers. Still gets himself into a controlling position, feet moving, shield him off, body turn from the running back, like I showed you on that other clip. Just a steady block, but it's a reach block. This is that difference I tell you about. What do I mean when I say you're not having to drive a guy off the ball? You're not just having to meat plow a guy down the field. You're trying to get yourself in front sometimes and just shield away. You got an initial double help to help you out a little bit there with 95. He's not even, look how his help is. You can see the help's not there doing anything really. Just putting the body in front of it. It's all he's got to do too, is just remain stout. Don't allow the penetration. You don't need to get as much push. This is the new side of football, the new school of football. As a center, you need to have quick reactions. Something you also see from this guy. This is something that is another one of those like center skills that I would say is not even a guard or center thing. This is a center thing you have to have. You got to be at one block, committed to that block wholly. And if you see new developments coming down, you got to be able to change off that block. So look at our center here. 95 first. Oop, onto 95. Allows the running back to get through. So on 95, look at him. See, he's blocking 95, but those eyes are on 9. He's got 95 controlled. 95 is in our back pocket right now. We're good there. I just need to take care of this guy as soon as the running back goes by me. And just almost an innate understanding of the back being right on his hip there, of the timing of this. Gets right off, gets him out, back gets through. Mobility in space. It's a beautiful thing in this game. How about at the point of attack? You say, Brandon, okay, he can do all the dancing. You say, all right, he can mamba. He can salsa. I've seen him do the Charleston. But can he actually go mano a mano? Can he actually hold up one-on-one against a big dog wanting to throw him on his butt without any help? Sometimes these centers don't always get help. Sometimes they got to take that nose tackle on when he's heads up over the top of them. This is zero tech, heads up. So this wouldn't be a reach block, right? This would be what I'm talking about, where you got him face up, heads up. You got to take him on. Plays going to his left. Plays pretty much going at his, it's kind of an outside zone that gets pushed inside. But he gets his block laid. He does his job for the most part. Plays kind of a slow developing one here. And part of the reason this doesn't look good for him is that the back's rerouting inside. So the play's supposed to go outside. But as you can see, Tyreek Hill loses leverage on his block instantly, which blows it up, forces it. So from Connor's side, he's understanding because he's that smart, savvy player. This has just got to go out wide. I don't have to necessarily cut this guy off the hole behind me, but the back decides to turn it up, which the back had to do. Another point of attack. Again, on the heads up of the nose tackle, right over Connor's side here. So he's got to take that nose tackle on. He's got to actually force him out of the hole here. Does a pretty good job. This play's basically made by the linebacker here. Getting around 2 blocks. Look at these 2 guys here. As Connor gets his job done, you have a center and you have the guard here. They then have the linebacker in front of him. Look, they both spot him. Got him, right? This should have been a big play. I'm sure Mike McDonald just cursed this play. There's 2 of you and neither of you decided to block him. Neither of you decided he was worthwhile. It's kind of like they both were like, you got him. No, you got him. No, you got you got him. I said you got him. I said you got him. But that's not Connor's fault there. He got his job done there on the nose tackle. Well done. Another reach block here against the Patriots. So we got the nose tackle in front of him. He's going to go over there and get the 3 tech. I guess he'll go get the 3 tech over there, basically. Gets to the 3. Doesn't have to do a lot. This play's going so fast. You don't have to push the guy off the ball. Just get to the block, though. He's not going to be in front of you. You're taking the lateral step. Don't whiff. Don't allow penetration. Penetration where? To where the play is going. Pretty good pass pro reps as well. Not often asked to do a lot of the one-on-one stuff. So and really this is the hard part about trying to find good pass pro reps with Miami, to be frank with you guys, because there's so little true 5-7 step drops. I mean, 2 is like 3 steps, it's out. 3 steps, it's out. 3 steps, it's out. But there are some of these reps like this against the nose tackle, one-on-one, controls him, hands inside, feet moving. Tua eventually scrambles after going through 4 reads. But a good job on his part. Another play here where you get to feel how far out in front he can get on times. It's a lot of linemen here. You go, man, they're to this point, they're lost. But watch him here, get out front, climb to the second level, can't get to the linebacker, look for another target, find one, cut him off, bust the run out a little, about another 10 yards out. How? Just by keeping your feet moving, getting out to a spot, making something happen. When he does find a body in space, he eliminates the body in space. I'm not talking about he takes their head off. I'm just saying that he gets out in space and makes sure that he handles that guy. So he's supposed to get the linebacker here. The timing of it is the linebacker takes a very good instinctive step or two here to his left, and that cuts off the pathway of him being able to get the linebacker. Connor knows he's got 2 other guys out here to help on that linebacker, so then peel back to the safety. Take care of the safety. Smart player, savvy player. Another play here in pass pro. Nose tackle, heads up. Watch how quick the ball is out of Tua's hand. It's such a kitschy offense. It's so gadgety. It's just like, whoo, whoo, whoo. It's like, man, the guy's just got to hold on for 2 seconds in pass pro. But is what it is. Again, here in pass pro. A little bit of a further throw down the field here, which I liked. He also, what I dig about this is kind of a reach block in pass pro. He's got the nose tackle in front of him, but he has to get over to the 3 tech in pass pro. This is not an easy pass set for a center. I got to get to that 3 tech, and then look how strongly he just controls that 3 tech inside there with his hands. Just controlling his hands in there. There's nothing about that that's on the line. There's nothing about that's close to being a penalty. It's one of the fewer deeper drops for Miami. One-on-one with basically a 3 tech there. Very impressive. Another spot of him here in pass pro. Again with a nose tackle. Again, another throw. You guys can see I went through some tape. I was like, my God, this is going to be hard to show some pass pro stuff. This is Miami's offense. It's wild stuff. It's wild stuff. We got him against the Raiders, nose tackle. You've seen a couple of these reps already. Tyreek runs it in. But nose tackle over there. Gets his hands inside, feet down well, doesn't give up a lot of space to the player. Tua's got a nice easy pathway to make this throw. One-on-one all the way, no help. So he can do kind of everything you need a center to do from the position. Is he going to be dominant with it? No. Is he going to get the job done with it? Yes. Little fade ball here. Hard to really take much of this with pass pro again because the ball's out so bloody quickly. But again, he's handling the nose tackle here one-on-one, no problem. He's only got to hold up his block for about a half second, though. So more moving in space here against the Jets. Another just climbing to the second level, 58, getting to the middle linebacker, 44. Boom. Get him walled off, as we've seen a couple times him do. So I can get to the second level, and I can wall that guy off. Play goes to hell because nobody else gets their block done. It's a complete mess everywhere else. But Connor does his job here. And I know he makes this look very easy and simple. I can assure you it is not for centers. I can assure you that I can see a lot of centers in the draft that if we're looking for a center for a mobile scheme, they would get eliminated at times because they just can't comfortably pull these kind of blocks off where they're moving in space. Again, moving in space. Again, targeting system accurate. Is it him just Trent Williamsing a guy down the field and taking him for a ride? No. But does that defender have any chance to make that play at any point here? No, he doesn't either. Screenplay, out in front 58, get on the defensive back, stay on the defensive back, keep the feet moving. And this DB here is trying to run around him. He's trying to use those legs to get around the big man, and it's like, man, he can move like that. How about a Chris Jones rep? Everybody likes a Chris Jones rep, right? It's not a pure one-on-one Chris Jones rep. I'll give you that. Okay. It's not a pure Chris Jones rep here. I'll give you that. And again, you're seeing Miami throw the ball so damn fast. But middle of the screen there, Chris Jones stonewalled up a little bit. Jones initially goes against the right guard, peels into him. Yeah, not bad. And one last little second level here on the Chargers. Really put on a clinic in this game and getting to the second level, moving in space. Really impressive. Gets out to 9, gets walled off. So again, center position, number 9. See, 9's already moving here. He knows he's got to get over to that spot before 9 does. So 9's already starting to kind of, he's reading it. He's like, ooh, this is going over here. That's that pre-snap motion stuff and how it can move linebackers. This is why you like pre-snap motion. You're manipulating the linebackers. You're making them go where you want them to go prior to the snap. But he gets out in front. Quick hand on 8. I don't have to worry about 8. My running back's going to be gone before number 8 does anything here. That's why he doesn't stay with 8. Savvy, technician, good understanding of the position. I don't have to hit this block and stay on this first block, because if the second I'm past and that linebacker drives in the backfield like he does, what happened to that linebacker? Caught in the wash. Completely out of the play. So he just gets a single hand, gets to the second level on 9, walls off 9 like I've showed countless times already, eliminates the defender from the play. These are what he brings to the offense. This is the player that Connor Williams is, and this is just part of the reason why I love this signing, and I think that this is going to be an absolutely great player here for your Seattle Seahawks and what he's going to bring to the table, because these are all going to be the type of blocks that we are going to require from him in this scheme. He's not doing anything really differently here than he wasn't asked to do out there with Miami. Now, there's going to be certainly differences in the offenses, but motion-based stuff, moving in space, reach block, second level, all that stuff's going to be baked within. And you did it, and you got it for really a marginal cost. So celebrate this deal, Seahawks fans, because these are the hard deals to come across in the NFL. If you're going to get productivity, you're going to get certain productivity, you usually got to pay for it. Now, the injury situation comes up. Is the ACL one that we've got to monitor and track? Yeah, it is. But it's also one that's very unpredictable. ACLs, by sometimes us as common fans, will think of it like they do. Players just bounce right back off of them after a year now because medical science is so far advanced. And that does happen for some players. But then we do see with other players that there's a little bit of some time or extra time that needs to be undertaken for them to get that right, to get that okay. And that very well could be the case with him here. But again, by all accounts, he seems to be good and strong. And the Seahawks have built that insurance policy within the deal by making it so that if he's going to be paid a good amount of money past, just a little bit past veteran minimum even, he's got to be healthy to do so. He's got to hit those incentives to do so. But let me know what you guys think. Do you love this deal? Do you like this deal? Or are you not as in on this deal with Connor? Is there a reason that you might have with it that you don't like it? I'd love to hear if there is maybe one that I might have missed out on an angle on this that I hadn't considered with it. But it was hard for me in thinking about this one. We have a lot of time to think about it because it's been reportedly in the works for quite a bit of time. So it's been hard for me as I've been turning it over to find the downside of it past being if you had signed him to a 3-year, $30 million deal and you didn't know walking in if really, truly that knee was going to be okay or able to hold up for that matter. Here you get a prove it season. Here you get to kind of rent the car for a year, see if you like it. And if you like it, you turn back around next year. And if he loves the culture, you can maybe sign him to that deal and you don't mind to do so at that point. So just so many flexible points that this takes the Seattle Seahawks for the position.